If he does not have funds to pay off the judgment, then we will seek, judgment enforcement mechanisms in court, and we will ask the judge to seize his assets.
In the heyday of his career, Donald Trump wielded both wealth and power with unmatched flair. Trump's financial prowess was a cornerstone of his public persona, showcasing a real estate empire that extended from iconic skyscrapers to luxury resorts. However, the tides have turned and the narrative has shifted. Donald Trump, once a financial juggernaut, now finds himself grappling with bankruptcy, resorting to selling off assets to combat a colossal debt. In today's video, we'll dissect Trump's financial struggles, delve into the legal issues complicating his situation, and unravel the potential impact on his public image and the political landscape. Trump's financial troubles. In a stunning turn of events, Trump's lawyers have revealed that he may be forced to sell his properties to cover a massive fraud fine. But how did we get here? It all started when New York Attorney General Letitia James filed a fraud lawsuit against Trump in 2022. The lawsuit alleged that Trump had artificially inflated property values of real estate managed by his businesses, leading to financial gain. In the lawsuit, it was asserted that Trump engaged in extensive efforts to inflate his net worth by billions of dollars on financial documents crucial for loan approvals, deal-making, and securing favorable insurance rates. The revelation was startling. Trump's inflated financial statements purportedly saved him at least $168 million through lower loan interest rates and reduced insurance premiums. The alleged extent of Trump's deception was staggering. Notably, it was claimed that he valued his Trump Tower penthouse in Manhattan nearly 3 times its actual size, asserting a staggering $327 million value, surpassing any other New York City apartment. This raised skepticism about the accuracy of his financial disclosures. The lawsuit didn't end with these revelations. Trump was accused of falsely valuing his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, suggesting it could be developed for residential use. However, it later emerged that Trump had relinquished development rights for anything other than a club. This inconsistency fueled the allegations of deception and fraud. The trial itself unfolded as a spectacle, with Trump taking the stand on November 6, 2023. His 3 eldest children, Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka, also testified, intensifying the drama surrounding the case. Anticipation filled the courtroom as the nation awaited the verdict, sensing that it could potentially dismantle Trump's carefully constructed public image. After an intense 11-week trial, Trump was found liable for his actions in September of last year. Fast forward to earlier this month, when the court issued a staggering $454 million civil penalty against Trump. This penalty is separate from the $83.3 million sum ordered in a defamation case brought by writer E. Jean Carroll. With multiple legal battles on his plate, Trump's financial troubles seem to be mounting. However, the recent development that has left everyone stunned is the revelation from Trump's lawyers that he might have to sell his properties to cover the fraud fine. In a court filing, his attorneys called the $454 million an unprecedented and unconstitutional sum and requested an emergency stay on the court's payment until they finish appealing the ruling. Unfortunately for Trump, his request for a stay was denied by Judge Anil Singh. The judge ruled that Trump must post a bond for the full amount of nearly $500 million. This ruling has put Trump in a tight spot, as his lawyers have admitted that selling properties may be the only way to raise the necessary funds. The financial repercussions of this ruling loom large, carrying considerable weight, with a substantial fine totaling $354 million, exclusive of interest. The defendants find themselves grappling with an immense fiscal burden. Factoring in interest, the financial implications for Trump escalate dramatically, reaching a monumental debt of $453.5 million as of the ruling day, according to the New York Attorney General's office. Judge Engoron, citing a 9% interest rate, mandated that interest began accruing on the fines in March 2019, May 2022, and June 2023. This tax on an additional $98.6 million to the already substantial amount owed by Trump. Crucially, it's vital to note that interest continues to accumulate, irrespective of any potential appeals made by Trump. Even amid legal challenges, he remains compelled to either furnish an appeals bond or deposit funds into a court-controlled account. The 9% interest rate equates to an annual interest of $31.9 million, breaking down to $2.7 million monthly, $614,196 weekly, and $87,502 daily. The compounding interest paints a challenging financial landscape for the defendants, heightening the stakes as this legal saga unfolds. The implications of this ruling are significant. New York Attorney General Letitia James has previously warned that if Trump fails to make timely payments, his properties could be seized.
If he does not have funds to pay off the judgment, then we will seek, judgment enforcement mechanisms in court, and we will ask the judge to seize his assets.
With the mounting legal battles and the hefty fines, Trump's financial situation seems to be in dire straits. The revelation that he might have to sell his properties to cover the fraud fine has sent shockwaves through the political and business world. It's a stunning turn of events for a man who once boasted about his wealth and success. Selling properties worth hundreds of millions of dollars is no small feat, even for someone like Trump, who has been known for his real estate empire. The potential consequences of such a move are far-reaching and could have a significant impact on Trump's financial standing and reputation. One immediate consequence of selling properties is the loss of valuable assets. Trump's real estate holdings have been a symbol of his wealth and success for decades. From luxurious hotels to iconic golf courses, these properties have been the cornerstone of his business empire. Selling them would not only mean a significant reduction in his assets, but also a blow to his image as a successful businessman. Additionally, selling properties in a short period of time could lead to financial losses. The real estate market is known for its fluctuations, and rushing to sell properties to raise capital may not yield the desired returns. Trump could potentially face selling properties at a lower price than their market value, resulting in financial setbacks. Moreover, selling properties could have a ripple effect on Trump's business ventures. Many of his properties are not just standalone assets, but are part of larger business operations. For example, his hotels generate revenue from guests, events, and other services. Selling these properties could disrupt these operations and potentially lead to job losses for employees. Another consequence to consider is the potential impact on Trump's personal lifestyle. His properties, such as Mar-a-Lago in Florida and Trump Tower in New York City, have been his personal residences and symbols of his status. Selling these properties would mean uprooting himself from familiar surroundings and potentially downsizing his living arrangements. Furthermore, the sale of properties could have legal implications. Trump's lawyers have been fighting tooth and nail to protect his assets and financial interests. However, selling properties could potentially expose him to further legal challenges, as creditors and other parties may seek to claim a share of the proceeds to satisfy outstanding debts or judgments. It's important to note that the potential consequences of selling properties extend beyond Trump's personal finances. The real estate market is interconnected, and a sudden influx of properties for sale could impact property values in certain areas. This could have broader implications for the real estate industry and the economy as a whole. Trump's legal challenges have already resulted in significant financial setbacks. Currently, President Donald Trump and his allies are finding it hard to close the widening gap with President Biden and the Democratic Party. At the close of January, President Biden's campaign celebrated a remarkable $56 million in cash, overshadowing Trump's struggling campaign with a mere $30.5 million. The Democratic National Committee, an integral part of Biden's campaign, boasted an impressive $24 million in the bank, nearly tripling the Republican National Committee's $8.7 million. This substantial early cash gap has sent shockwaves rippling through the Republican Party, leaving top Republicans and Trump allies deeply concerned about the financial landscape. Worries have intensified among leading Republicans in Washington and some of Trump's closest allies. There's a growing apprehension that Trump might be allocating too much political funding toward his legal bills, coupled with concerns about an understaffed fundraising team and a potential slowdown in small-dollar donations. Recalling the 2020 election, Trump's campaign encountered a cash crunch that prompted them to temporarily pull advertisements from television screens. Meanwhile, Democratic groups and the Biden campaign went on a spending spree, investing a staggering $1.2 billion on ads after April 1st, significantly eclipsing the $779 million spent by Trump and his supporting groups. This fundraising predicament is further compounded by the substantial drain of legal expenses incurred due to Trump's involvement in numerous civil and criminal trials. The financial challenges confronting Trump's campaign are intricate, touching not only on the broader fundraising landscape, but also on the specific ramifications of legal battles for the available financial resources. The $355 million penalty, coupled with restrictions on his company's operations, is plunging Trump into a severe cash crunch as he embarks on the challenging journey to reclaim the White House. However, the civil fraud case is not the singular legal battle contributing to his massive debt. Trump's legal issues. The former president is currently entangled in a complex web of criminal indictments and a civil investigation that loom ominously over his political aspirations. This legal tempest began brewing shortly after Trump announced his campaign, with multiple criminal indictments casting shadows over him and his business empire, the Trump Organization. 4 criminal indictments have been filed against Trump, alleging a spectrum of financial crimes and misconduct. These charges have sent shockwaves through the political landscape, prompting questions about the integrity of his campaign. One of these indictments indictments is the Georgia election case. The Georgia election case centers around allegations of election fraud and irregularities in the 2020 presidential election. In August, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis filed charges against Donald Trump and 18 accomplices. They stand accused of orchestrating an unlawful plot aimed at overturning Trump's narrow defeat to Democrat Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election in Georgia. Among the co-defendants are Mark Meadows, former White House Chief of Staff, and Rudy Giuliani, former New York mayor and Trump's attorney. The alleged scheme encompasses a broad spectrum of illicit acts, ranging from Trump's infamous January 2021 phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State to attempts at substituting Georgia's Democratic electors with those favoring Trump. Additionally, the charges involve the harassment of a Fulton County election worker and the unauthorized copying of data and software from election equipment. This extensive array of alleged misdeeds paints a detailed picture of the complex legal battle unfolding around the events following the 2020 election. It centers around the claim that Trump pressured Georgia officials to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in his favor. The shocking nature of these allegations has ignited a fierce debate and further eroded trust in the democratic process. The claims made in the Georgia election case are nothing short of extraordinary. Trump and his supporters argue that illegal voting, ballot tampering, and improper handling of absentee ballots occurred, ultimately affecting the outcome of the election. They contend that these irregularities led to an unfair victory for Joe Biden. However, it is important to note that multiple investigations and audits have been conducted, and no evidence of widespread fraud has been found. The courts have dismissed many of the lawsuits filed by Trump's legal team, citing a lack of evidence. Despite these setbacks, Trump and his supporters continue to claim that the election was stolen from him. They argue that the alleged irregularities, such as mail-in ballot mishandling and improper vote counting, undermine the integrity of the election. However, election officials, both Republican and Democrat, have repeatedly stated that the 2020 election was one of the most secure in American history, with no evidence of widespread fraud that would have changed the outcome. The trials in the federal election cases were highly contentious, with both sides presenting their arguments and evidence. Trump's legal team sought to prove that the alleged irregularities were significant enough to warrant overturning the election results, while the defense argued that the claims lacked merit and were unsupported by evidence. The Georgia election case has been the subject of intense scrutiny and has had a significant impact on the political landscape. It has raised questions about the integrity of the electoral process and the trustworthiness of the results. The case has also highlighted the deep divisions within the country and the challenges faced in maintaining a fair and transparent election system. The outcome of the Georgia election case has far-reaching implications. It not only affects the credibility of the 2020 presidential election, but also has the potential to shape future elections and the democratic process as a whole. The case serves as a reminder of the importance of upholding the principles of fairness, transparency, and accountability in our electoral system. In addition to the Georgia election case, Donald Trump faces another seismic legal challenge, the federal election case, a case that revolves around grave allegations of election interference. In August, special counsel Jack Smith brought charges against Trump for conspiring to subvert the outcome of his electoral defeat to President Joe Biden, culminating in the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. Prosecutors assert that Trump and his allies knowingly propagated false claims of election fraud, applying pressure on state officials to overturn Biden's victory. The charges also include allegations of efforts to recruit fictitious electors in battleground states and coerce Vice President Mike Pence into disrupting the ceremonial counting of electoral votes. Prosecutors contend that Trump and his allies exploited the chaos of the pro-Trump mob's Capitol attack, attempting to persuade Congress members to further delay the certification of Biden's victory. Trump faces 4 charges, encompassing obstruction of an official proceeding, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, conspiracy to defraud the U.S., and conspiracy to prevent others from exercising their constitutional rights. The obstruction charge specifically relates to the January 6, 2021 joint session of Congress, where electoral votes were tallied to certify Biden's victory. The most severe charges carry a potential sentence of up to 20 years in prison, though the actual duration, in the event of a conviction, remains uncertain and is subject to the judge's discretion. As the case undergoes further investigation, these startling allegations have already left an indelible mark on public perception. The unsettling notion that a foreign power could potentially influence the outcome of a presidential election has sent shockwaves through the public, contributing to the gravity of the legal challenge facing Donald Trump. Another case looming around Trump's neck is the classified documents case. The case revolves around allegations that Trump mishandled classified information during his time in office. In June, special counsel Jack Smith charged Trump with the illicit possession of classified documents transported from the White House to Mar-a-Lago after he exited office in January 2021. Subsequently, Trump faced accusations of obstructing government directives to return the documents. Further complications arose in July when additional charges were brought forth, alleging his involvement in a conspiracy to instruct a staffer to delete surveillance footage at the property. Moreover, Trump was accused of retaining a document. This sequence of legal developments paints a complex picture of Trump's post-presidential legal challenges. Trump confronts a daunting total of 40 felony counts, encompassing offenses related to both document possession with charges under the Espionage Act and alleged obstruction. The charges span a range of serious allegations, including willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, false statements, and other offenses. Each of the 30-plus willful retention counts carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. While all charges against Trump are felonies with potential prison sentences, the complexity of sentencing guidelines makes it challenging to predict the exact nature of the punishment in the event of a conviction. Scheduled for trial on May 20th, 2024 in Fort Pierce, Florida, Trump's legal team has sought a postponement, with the request still pending. The upcoming trial promises to be a critical juncture in the legal saga surrounding the former president, with the outcome hanging in the balance of the intricate legal proceedings. While the details of this case remain classified, it has been a subject of intense speculation and scrutiny. The case raises questions about Trump's adherence to national security protocols and the potential risks posed by his actions. However, due to the classified nature of the case, the public is left with limited information and can only speculate on the severity of the allegations. Another case involving Trump is the New York hush money case, a highly publicized scandal that unfolded during his presidency. This case revolves around allegations of illicit payments aimed at silencing women who asserted having had affairs with Trump. Central figures in this case include Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. Stormy Daniels, a former adult film star, received a payment of $130,000 from Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, just days before the election. The payment was made in exchange for Daniels' silence regarding her alleged affair with Trump. Similarly, Karen McDougal, a former Playboy model, received a payment of $150,000 from the parent company of the National Enquirer, a tabloid known for its close ties to Trump. This payment was made to purchase the rights to McDougal's story and ensure that it would not be published. Trump's ex-personal attorney, Michael Cohen, pleaded guilty to campaign finance violations related to these payments. Cohen asserted that he executed the payments under Trump's directive, thereby implicating the former president in the scheme. The hush money case drew intense media attention and public scrutiny, triggering questions about Trump's personal conduct and the potential legal consequences of his actions. Donald Trump faces a legal entanglement in New York, confronting a total of 34 charges related to the falsification of business records. This felony charge carries the potential for up to 4 years of imprisonment if convicted. Prosecution's uphill battle involves establishing that the former president didn't merely engage in the misdemeanor act of falsifying or causing the entry of business records to be false. Instead, they must demonstrate that Trump manipulated these records with the specific intent of concealing another crime, thereby elevating the charges to the more severe category of felonies. The complexity of this legal maneuvering adds layers to the unfolding legal drama surrounding Donald Trump, intensifying the scrutiny on the alleged misconduct. The judge has set the commencement date for Trump's hush money trial on March 25, 2024, amidst the fervor of the presidential primary season, and only weeks after the initiation of his Washington, D.C. election interference case. In addition, Trump's legal team has requested a delay in the hush money trial, citing the need to concentrate on other ongoing cases. The decision on this postponement request is pending. As these cases continue to unfold, the public remains captivated by the scandals and secrets that have emerged during Trump's presidency. But are the legal issues affecting Trump? Public perceptions of Trump changing? The impact. As news broke of the charges against former President Donald Trump, the American public was left stunned and bewildered. The release of these charges marked a turning point in the public's perception of Trump as the gravity of the allegations began to sink in. Supporters and critics alike were forced to confront the sensational and unbelievable facts that were being presented by prosecutors. For many, the addition of 3 more charges against Trump by federal prosecutors in Florida was a bombshell. These charges specifically related to his retention of classified documents after leaving office, including a new obstruction of justice count. The details of these charges were shocking, with reports of classified documents found strewn around Trump's compound at Mar-a-Lago. The evidence presented by the prosecutors was vivid and compelling, leaving little room for doubt. As the news spread, reactions poured in from all corners of the country. Supporters of Trump, who had stood by him through thick and thin, found themselves grappling with the weight of the allegations. Some staunch supporters dismissed the charges as politically motivated, while others struggled to reconcile their previous admiration for Trump Trump with the mounting evidence against him. On the other hand, critics of Trump saw the charges as long overdue justice. They viewed the release of these charges as a vindication of their concerns and suspicions about his actions while in office. For them, the evidence presented by prosecutors only confirmed what they had long believed, that Trump had committed crimes that needed to be addressed. The media frenzy surrounding the release of charges was unprecedented. News outlets scrambled to cover every angle of the story, analyzing the implications and potential consequences for Trump's political future. Pundits and commentators weighed in with their opinions, further fueling the public discourse. Social media platforms became battlegrounds for heated debates and discussions. Supporters and critics clashed, each presenting their own interpretations of the charges and their significance. The polarization that had defined Trump's presidency seemed to intensify, with little room for middle ground. In the midst of this whirlwind, some voices emerged that called for a measured approach. They urged the public to wait for the legal process to unfold, emphasizing the importance of due process and the presumption of innocence. These voices cautioned against jumping to conclusions based solely on the charges, reminding everyone that the burden of proof lay with the prosecutors. However, it was clear that the release of charges had already begun to shape public perception. The sensational nature of the allegations and the compelling evidence presented by prosecutors had left an indelible mark on the minds of many. The initial reactions to the charges against Trump set the stage for a broader shift in public opinion as people grappled with the implications of these revelations. The release of charges against Donald Trump had a profound impact on his support base, which had remained steadfast throughout his presidency. For many of his supporters, they believe it's a larger conspiracy against him.
He shows the system is corrupt, the deep state is crazy, and the swamp is right there. But Trump's got a lot of supporters, and we support him, and we see the corrupt system.
One possible outcome is that the accumulation of charges and evidence will gradually turn public opinion decisively against Trump, especially among voters who aren't highly partisan. The release of sensational facts and compelling evidence has already begun to shift public perception, as seen in the surveys and polls. A survey from NPR PBS NewsHour Marist College indicated that the percentage of Republicans who believed that Trump had done nothing wrong had dropped from 50% to 41% since June. This decline suggested that even among Republicans, information was being taken in, and doubts were starting to emerge. The number of independents who believe that Trump has committed a crime is growing, particularly in relation to the classified documents case. This suggests that as prosecutors release more details, opinion is slowly shifting against him among less partisan voters. However, it is important to note that despite these shifts, a significant portion of the Republican Party remained firmly in Trump's corner. In the same poll, 71% of Republicans agreed that Republicans needed to stand behind Trump in relation to the ongoing investigations. 58% stated that they would vote for him in the primary if it were held today. These numbers indicated that while there may be some erosion of support, Trump still commanded a significant base of loyal followers. The impact of the charges on Trump's support base was a complex and evolving phenomenon. While some supporters remained steadfast, dismissing the allegations as politically motivated, others began to question their unwavering loyalty. The mounting evidence presented by prosecutors and the shifting dynamics within the Republican Party contributed to this shift in public perception. The impact of the charges on Trump's political future is also contingent on the legal proceedings that lie ahead. The potential trials and outcomes of these cases will undoubtedly shape public perception and determine the extent of the consequences for Trump. The special counsel Jack Smith and the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis will play pivotal roles in presenting compelling evidence if they indict Trump on charges relating to the 2020 election and the January 6th riots. The classified documents case, with its vivid and compelling evidence, may have a unique impact on public opinion. The photographs of classified documents strewn around Trump's Mar-a-Lago compound and the statements from his own lawyers and employees make it difficult for even the staunchest supporters to dismiss the charges as baseless. However, it remains to be seen whether the same level of movement in public opinion will occur in the 2020 election cases, where the evidence may be perceived as rehashing old issues and familiar to people. The repercussions of the charges against Trump extend far beyond his personal reputation, holding the potential to reshape not only the Republican Party, but also the broader political landscape. Within the party, divisions are deepening, with some Republicans choosing to distance themselves from Trump, while others steadfastly maintain their support. The outcome of these internal schisms will wield a substantial influence on the party's future trajectory and its capacity to forge ahead. Moreover, the charges against Trump carry weighty implications for the 2024 presidential election. Potential indictments and ensuing trials could cast a shadow shadow on Trump's eligibility to vie for office once more. Amidst the legal challenges and controversies, Trump's campaign resiliently gathered momentum, evident in national primary polling, where he consistently led by a substantial margin over other candidates. This robust support from within his party positioned Trump as the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, notwithstanding the legal uncertainties surrounding his campaign. Trump's dominance in the primary polls underscores his enduring popularity within the Republican Party. It is evident that many voters are willing to overlook the legal challenges and controversies surrounding his campaign. As the legal battles waged on, Trump remained defiant, pledging to combat the charges and vehemently asserting his innocence. In Trump's perspective, these indictments and investigations are nothing more than political witch hunts.
This is Russia, this is China, this is the same game. All comes out of the DOJ, it all comes out of Biden. It's a witch hunt against his political opponent, the likes of which our country has never seen before.
Regardless of the outcome, it is clear that Trump's financial empire will face significant challenges. The potential financial blow and the subsequent impact on his business ventures could reshape the landscape of his empire. It remains to be seen whether Trump will be able to recover from the fallout and rebuild his financial standing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.